Hi, it's Penny Black and Jill Foster here for your Monday PB&J card class. This week on the Penny Black blog, the designers will be showcasing some of their favorite stamps from our CHA release. And today I'll be sharing 2 cards created using this clear set called Flower Sweet. And because I couldn't pick just one stamp to showcase, I'll also be using these 3 stamps on the card. Here are 2 cards created using the stamps I just showed. And we'll be creating on the video today the card on the left. So here's just another view of that card. To begin, I'll be taking Penny Black Mix and Match cardstock, and I'm inking this Penny Black background stamp called All Over Pattern, and I'm inking this with Sukaneko VersaFine ink in the color of Crimson Red. And I find when I'm stamping large background stamps, it's easiest to lay my paper onto the stamp. So I just lay that directly onto the stamp, hold with one hand and rub with the other, making sure to get around all the edges. And then I'll carefully lift, and the background has been stamped. Now, just to accent this background a little bit more, I'm taking my Copic marker in the color of R08 and coloring in sort of what would be the flower petals of this background. And I don't need to color all of them, so just around the outer edges, as you can see there, because the center will be covered. Now I'm taking a white gel pen, and I'm just coloring in the center of each of those designs. And I really like the way this touch of white on this background really makes it pop. And I'm just continuing to color those in all the way around the edge of the card. And we'll set that aside. Now we're ready to stamp our next background. So this is more Penny Black Mix and Match cardstock and also Penny Black Stamp Damask pattern. And I'm inking this with Sukaneko Memento ink in the color of Love Letter. And this background is really fun because it has such dimension to it. When you stamp it, really all you need to do is stamp it onto colored cardstock. And it looks like you spend a lot more time on it than you really do. So I've laid my cardstock down. I'm holding it with one hand and rubbing with the other. And you can see I just laid a piece of scratch paper there to protect my hands since the size of the cardstock was a lot smaller than the size of the stamp. And there you can see that background. Now I decided here I'm going to layer this onto the background I already created, and since both of those are pretty busy, I'm going to take Distress ink in the color of Festive Berries, and I'm just going to ink the edges of this piece, sort of to define those edges so that it doesn't get lost or look too busy when it's layered onto the other stamped background. And then once I did that, I decided to go ahead and ink this background just around the edges using Fired Brick. And when I applied the ink on both of these, I just used the ink applicator tool and a foam pad. Now I want to layer this onto a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just using a scratch piece of paper here with the hole cut in the center because that's going to be layered on another piece, so only the edges will show. So I'm going to layer this onto a piece of white, and I really wanted that thin white border on there to make those little white dots that I colored pop even more. Now this piece I'm going to add onto this background using pop dots. And I'll just lay that right onto the center of the card. Now that those are assembled, I'm going to add this onto one more piece of cardstock. And that's Penny Black Mix and Match cardstock. Now this oval was die cut using Spellbinder's Decal Edged ovals, large, and I'm inking the edges with the Festive Berries Distress ink. And then I'm going to layer that onto the center of that pink panel. And then I've also cut another piece of Penny Black Mix and Match cardstock and cut the edges into the shape of a banner. Now this small oval was also die cut using the Spellbinders Nestabilities, and I'm going to stamp this. This is from our clear set called Gratitude, and I'm using VersaFine black ink, which I find to be the very best ink with the Penny Black clear stamps. I just love that ink. Get a nice impression, and it's nice and dark, crisp black. And I'm going to put this on using pop dots as well. Now these flowers were from the clear set Flower Suite, and I stamped those with VersaFine black ink embossed with clear powder and colored them with my Copics. And I want them to sort of overlap on that oval, so I tucked part of it behind, and then I'm just sticking a pop dot behind the center to make sure that it stays on well. And the leaves are from that same clear set, and I'm just going to use glossy accents here to glue those down. Just getting it started here. And I'll slide the other leaf on the other side. And you can mount this onto a note card, and your card is finished. And here's another look at that finished card. And then because I was having fun with this color scheme and I just love that clear set, I used that same flower that we used on the previous card, repeatedly stamped it onto white cardstock colored with my Copics, and then layered it onto a card. And here's another look at that pair of cards. Thank you so much for watching. For details and more information, visit the Penny Black website, www.pennyblackink.com. And here are the supplies used on both of these cards. So if you need to get these down, you can pause the video now and you'll have access to all the supplies used. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next Monday.